Hello, SwordofAllah. This is the Master Analyst. After watching your video, I have to say that I am still quite impressed by you. Your most recent video has a humbleness about it that the last few videos that you've been making lacked. I'd say the last several videos, in fact, you were quite cocky. And I guess you have something to be cocky for. There's no doubt about it that you are obviously quite intelligent. You're a very good speaker. I approach this whole thing from a somewhat different point of view. As you may know, I'm an atheist, so I would not necessarily attribute your intelligence to Allah. I would attribute it more to inheriting good genes and being in a good environment that helped develop your natural intelligence to its fullest. However, I do admire your newfound humbleness. Now, one thing that I have kind of learned, I'm considerably older than you. That doesn't in itself necessarily mean I'm wiser, but I think I may have learned a few things. One thing that I've discovered is that no matter how smart you are, there's going to be someone out there smarter than you. And focusing on that is a way to stay a little bit humble. If you constantly going about trying to own people, saying, I'm better than they are, sooner or later, as one gets cocky, one builds the seeds to one's undoing. So whether you approach it from your perspective as far as you should remain humble because you're just using the gifts that Allah loaned you, or whether you're coming at from my perspective, an atheist perspective, that there are many, many people, no matter how smart you are, there are going to be people who are smarter than you. We kind of arrive in sort of the same place. That is good not to be too arrogant. In addition, there are many, many types of intelligence. I'm certainly not the smartest guy in the world, but I think I've been gifted with at least some moderate degree of intelligence. But there are certain things that I do reasonably well. I'm a reasonably good writer. I'm not as good at producing videos as I am at writing. And there are many things that I would be judged an absolute imbecile at. And so intelligence is a very multifaceted thing, and one can be good in one area and one can be good in another area. Now, does that make you a good person just because you happen to be a brilliant orator or great at logic? Not necessarily. Whether you're a good person or not really will depend upon your actions and how you behave. And it can't be said that one person is better than another just because they're better at one particular limited aspect of intelligence. Now, maybe you might consider this unfair for me to do this, but you've kind of illustrated one reason why I am quite concerned about an Islamic state forming. I posted a video response to a video of yours, and my video response was kind of explaining why some atheists do things like spitting the Bible and burning the Koran. And there's a genuine fear of what would happen if an Islamic state came into existence, or a new Islamic state, a caliphate came into existence. And I know that you will say, and a lot of other Muslims will say, looking at Saudi Arabia or Iran will give one a distorted picture of what an Islamic state would look like, because they are not instituting Islam as it should, as Allah intended it to. Fair enough. The thing that I fear from my limited understanding, and please forgive me if my understanding is improper or incorrect, but from my understanding, at the head of an Islamic state, there's going to be one Imam who would basically have great power, or maybe a few Imams, I don't know, who would have incredibly great power. Now, some Muslims, and I posted a link in my previous video, and I'll post a link to that video as well as to the series of videos, showed some rather radical Imam explaining that the head of a caliphate would have the power of, say, exterminating homosexuals if he thought Allah wanted him to. That's just too much power to concentrate into one hand. There's no checks and balances. One thing, you might not like the United States, you might not like the U.S. government, but one thing that's built into our system of government, at least, is a series of checks and balances. No one person, no one center can get too much power. At least they can't get too much power and maintain it over the long run because they're built into the Constitution. There are checks and balances. Our founding fathers realized that people are not always perfect. They're often quite mean-spirited and petty, and so they built in these checks and balances just to avoid the dangers that would inevitably come from unchecked power. The question is, would the head of a religious state always be kept in power? Now, you might get somebody, if you're lucky, maybe sometime in the past, and I understand there may have been a true Islamic state right around Muhammad's time and maybe a bit after, that everything was run smoothly and fine and everything was hunky-dory and it was paradise. I don't know, but supposing there was. The thing is, sooner or later, you're going to get a ruler. You're going to get rulers who deviate from the path. Not everyone will be able to govern as wisely. Whatever government you're going to get in place will be implemented by humans who are quite fallible. And judging from what I know of the Koran, one big possible flaw is that it's not robust. And by that I mean it's not idiot-proof. I've seen it explained here that, for example, that it is not apostasy in and of itself is not enough to get one the death sentence. You don't kill someone just for leaving the religion, but you kill someone who leaves the religion and then actively works against the religion to undermine it. That would be worthy of the death sentence. But unfortunately, there are a lot of Muslims around the world who don't understand this. Either they don't understand this or they do understand this and they're totally ignoring it. I don't know which. So here you have a situation where even if the laws are good, they're not robust in that they seem to be very easily misunderstood. It would have been nice if Allah had looked into the future and seen what common mistakes or misconceptions were likely to occur, and then attached an FAQ to the Quran, something that you don't have to pour through hundreds of pages through. Maybe at the beginning and then once at the end. A few simple common misbeliefs that people would have, and then quick short answers such as, question, should I kill someone who leaves the religion? Answer, no, you moron. Don't even think about it, unless of course they are actively undermining the religion. If he had done that, so that everyone would be on the right page, or something like, my religion teaches me to fly airplanes into buildings to kill thousands of people. Should I do that? No, you moron. That's an insult to me, and you'll rot in hell forever. I mean, if God had just looked into the future, come up with a short list of FAQs, don't have to make it hundreds of pages long, and put the basic rules so that everybody could understand. If you just made it so simple that anyone could understand and know what was going on and what he wanted. Evidently, he didn't do this. You can judge that by looking at the behavior of people. One wonders why he didn't do this. Maybe he wasn't able to do this. Of course, if you take that route, if you go that path, then you have to admit that his power is limited and that he doesn't have infinite power. On the other hand, maybe supposing he is able to do this, then he must have some reason for this. Maybe he gets his jollies out of seeing Islam being misunderstood and misused. I don't know. But tying it into what's happened and why I'm rambling on about this when I started out talking about the way you've grown more humble is that, look, if even you can let things go to your head and start behaving in an improper manner, albeit not nearly as bad as a lot of the abuses attributed to Islam. But even if you could do that, isn't it likely that someone who's at the head of the state, ruling over everybody, thinking they're doing so in the name of God, isn't it likely that they are going to get a swell head? Isn't it likely that they may think that they're better than they are, that they will eventually, sooner or later, misuse their powers, and do so under the misconception that Allah approves of what they're doing? Might they not exterminate gays under the misconception that they think that Allah wants them to do so? So that is a real danger of an Islamic state. And so I apologize for using your... evidently this is not a comfortable video for you to have made, and I can only say that it has made my esteem for you grow even more. And I see that you think that Snow is a great role model, and I have to agree with you. He really is a good guy, even though I don't agree with his religion or his worldview. But he is an excellent person to emulate, and you are showing once again that you too are an excellent person to emulate. But if even someone like you can get too big a head, what would happen if this happened to the head of an Islamic state? Well, I've rambled on long enough. I want to wish you well, and I hope you continue doing what you have been doing. I wouldn't encourage you to erase your previous videos because they're part of the historical record, and even amongst the ones where you were at your worst, there was always something worth watching in them. So I would encourage you not to go deleting your past videos, but just keep the current attitude that you seem to have adopted, and you'll do well. This has been the Masked Analyst, under and in.